And despite the fact that it's going to be extremely hot and we really don't have that many changes on the way. So I caught a beautiful time-lapse view here from our downtown camera. We're looking off toward the southeast, and we're just watching these pretty innocent looking, fair weather cumulus clouds coming up out of the south and not producing obviously any thunderstorms at this time. Very, very slight chance that we could see a sea breeze shower or storm later today. But for right now, it's just pretty and very, very hot out there with the latest temperature, 92 degrees. Now, I want to skip ahead and just talk about tracking this heat dome, and is it going to be moving at all this weekend? And it doesn't look like it's going to be moving that much. In general, there's going to be a shift of the center of this area of high pressure a little bit out toward the west, but it's still really pretty big, and it's still going to be covering our area. So today, tomorrow, Sunday, even Monday, all of these, we're looking for high temperatures of at least 100, if not hotter. And then looking ahead at next week, by Tuesday, starts to shift over the Big Bend region, and that may open up the chance for this little bit of a north and northwest flow, maybe a thunderstorm or two. And then farther along in the week, heading into Wednesday and Thursday, subtle changes. I mean, in general, what we're looking for is by next weekend, and there's a lot, that could change between now and then, obviously, but by next weekend, basically mid-August, we may see this high set up a little bit closer to around the Phoenix area, which would give us a better chance for seeing some thunderstorms. But just to summarize, bottom line, don't expect too many changes here in the short term, over the next few days. Right now, lots of low 90s across the area. Bay City's reporting 97. Now, I will tell you that temperature sensor down there tends to run hot. But in general, lots of low 90s across the area. Now, we also keep an eye on things like wind direction. So anytime there's a south or a southeast wind, tends to bring in more humidity and hold temperatures down just a little. And wherever you see a west wind or a southwest wind, it tends to ramp temperatures up. So we do have some southwest winds out there in Angleton and Hobby Airport and up there around Huntsville. So with that in place, we're looking for a very similar outcome today than we had yesterday. This is the heat index. The feels like temperature, it's actually worse today than it was yesterday. We have a little bit higher dew point value out there today. So there's a little bit more humidity today than there was yesterday. 109, the current heat index here at 11:32 in the morning on Galveston Island. 103 Houston. It is just getting brutal out there. So we're going to get near record high temperatures today. The record at Bush Intercontinental today is 102. The record at Hobby Airport is just 100. So we could definitely tie that one, or at least get real close to it. Yesterday we hit 99 at Hobby. A very hot, humid weekend with limited rain chances. Against the rain chance is not zero necessarily, but it is pretty low. If you do get an isolated thunderstorm, just know that you're one of the lucky few. So when will it change? Not within the next 7 days, but maybe the next 10. This is a look at the last 31 days, and each one of these yellow bars is a day that we had an above average high temperature. 26 in a row. 26 days in a row, and today of course we'll make day 27 because our average high is 96, and we're almost there already. So 26 days, 27 days, and we'll continue that trend. Highs today around Texas, check it out, about 101 in Beaumont, 104 for Austin and for San Antonio, about 103 out in Midland, about 106 degrees in Dallas for the day today. And then fast forwarding ahead to tomorrow, if anything, it gets even hotter. So about 102 here, 105 Austin, 107 Dallas. It really is going to be a pretty brutal weekend, really, no matter where you're going here across the Lone Star State. And in terms of just absolute coverage of hot weather, Texas really is the focal point of the country for hot weather for this weekend. New Orleans up to about 100, which again, that's very rare for them to get that hot over there in New Orleans. All right, what about the tropics? Any tropical waves coming our way? Not in the short term. Everything is very quiet. Closer to us out in the Atlantic, there's not much going on. We do have a couple of tropical waves out here in the eastern Atlantic. You can see one with just a little bit of a rotation there, so that's what we would call a tropical wave or tropical disturbance. But it's really surrounded by some pretty dry Saharan dusty air. You see that right here. So that is really going to limit its ability to strengthen very much. So at this point, nothing is really urgently, forming in the Atlantic Ocean. We went through several days, kind of the end of last week and the beginning of this week with some Saharan dust in the air. Most of that has dissipated. So really the levels of dust in the atmosphere are fairly low today, although we may have some ozone forming out there. Temperatures across the Gulf of Mexico, incredibly warm again. I mean, in some spots it's approaching 90 degrees. So that's, again, just a big concern later this hurricane season. Really don't have any rain showing up. Even, sometimes you'll get some sprinkles along the coastline. Not seeing that right now. I do have the visible satellite turned on so that we can see this cumulus field developing and keep a lookout for a sea breeze developing. And right now, just a hint of that down here, with just some cumulus clouds there near the coast, but it's weak. It's really very weak. All right, so what's coming our way for the day today? We're talking about the combination of heat and humidity getting our feels like values near 110. Because of that, a heat advisory is in effect for us through 9 p.m. this evening. And there'll be another one issued tomorrow, no doubt. High temperatures 100 plus. If you're watching us from up around Huntsville or maybe farther north like Trinity or any of those spots, Lufkin, Bryan, College Station, all of those spots could get up to around 105 today. In Houston, closer to around 100 to 102, and down along the coastline about 92 to 94. Lows in the low 80s overnight tonight, and then lots of strong sunshine. We'll call it a sweltering weekend for you because we're going to have high temperatures around 102 with ample humidity in place, very limited chances for rain. So that's going to give us, once again, just really dangerous levels of heat index values out there. So today, heat advisory, we put that rain chance less than 10%, so like single digits. Same thing for tomorrow. Not impossible, but very few and far between. For the next several days, very likely we're going to hit 100 each day. The overnight low temperatures also will stay remarkably warm. So generally, the criteria for our local weather service office to issue a heat advisory is if the temperature stays 80 degrees or above in the morning, and the afternoon heat index gets to 108 or higher. So this is all going to be likely meeting that heat advisory criteria each of the next several days, taking us all the way through next week as the heat wave continues. Now, as far as, sort of beyond the 7-day forecast, maybe day 9, day 10, day 11, as we head to the middle part of the month of August, yes, there could be a little bit of relief in sight, but in the meantime, not so much. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, we have Fox 26 News at noon. Get the latest news of the day, as well as an updated look at the weather forecast. And I'll tell you what, by noon, those temperatures are going to be rising a whole lot more. Remember, you could always get your digital updates here through this streaming platform, and check out the updates to our Tropics page at fox26houston.com. You could either go straight to it, fox26houston.com/tropics, or you can go to our weather page and just find the link that says tropical weather, and it'll take